over the My Credit system. And for any new associates, welcome to the team. And this is included in your $39.95 membership. So it does come with the income shifting. This is your website. I'm going to go to the My Credit system. And when you log into your Business Management Center, the My Credit system is right here beside the Get Started button. But you can also, like I said, it is included, so you don't have to pay for it separate. It is included into the income shifting membership, and it's right here as well, okay? So right beside the Get Started, you're gonna hit the My Credit system. And you're gonna hit Get Started. And you can see that it's less than 25 minutes to do the training. And the first step is where you're going to start with the welcome to the My Credit system. You want to make sure that you watch the videos. They're all under 6 minutes. I think the longest is probably 6 minutes, but most of the videos in here is less than 3 minutes. So when preparing your credit, the first thing you want to do is pull your credit report. And do not be afraid to look and see what's on your credit report, because again, this is a no judgment zone for my econ. We have people from all types, walks of life that come into this opportunity. So this is a no judgment zone. We want you to feel comfortable. That's why it is a do-it-yourself credit repair, so that you can be in the privacy of your home. No one has to see your business, and you shouldn't feel ashamed. We all made mistakes when it came to this credit thing. But thank God we're here now getting educated, and this is the most important part. So you want to pull your credit report at the annualcreditreport.com. This is where you get your credit report for free. You can get access to all 3 of your credit reports. It is 3 credit bureaus. They're all privately owned companies. They're not ran by the government. The government has nothing to do with your credit. These are privately owned entities, and each one of them reports something different. Your creditors report to them based on your credit history with your creditors. And you have some creditors who may not report to all 3 bureaus. That's why you want to pull and get access to all 3 of your credit reports. So you just click here, and you're gonna request your forms, your credit reports, and you just fill out this form. As you answer this question as much as possible, that it's going to give you access to all 3 credit bureaus. Each bureau may require something different, an email or a telephone number, but some kind of way they need to identify who you are, because identity theft is one of the biggest crimes in America. So to protect you, they're going to ask you some security questions, and you just need to be able to answer those questions in order to access your credit reports. This site gives you the most accurate credit reports, but it does not give you your credit scores. And that is what you do need to know when also working on your credit. So you always want to know what's your beginning, what's the beginning credit score that you're starting out with. And you want to know what's on all 3 of your credit reports as well. So when you click on each one of these sites, it's going to ask you, do you want to print out your credit reports? You absolutely want to print it out, but not print it out. I'm going to say not print it out, because it could be up to 56 pages, depending on what's on your credit report. But you do hit print, and you just save it to your computer. So when you hit print, you can hit save as a PDF and actually download it to your computer. And you want to do that for each bureau. Again, it's up to you if you choose to print it out. It's 56 pages sometimes, depending on what's on your credit report. And then also printing it out can be hard for some people to read. So I just suggest for people to download it and save it to their to their computer, okay? So when you do this, you do want to be on your computer.
They just here for you to have it.
If everyone can mute their mics, Terrence, I don't know if I need to go in and mute everyone. If everyone can mute. Okay, thank you. Okay, so you need to know your credit score when starting out. And again, my econ has incorporated the best place to go and get your credit score. Now, we help you pull your FICO score. This is the score that your lenders will be looking at when you try to go get approved for something, whether it's mortgage, if you're trying to get a home, car loan, a loan with your bank, apply for life insurance, car insurance, all of those pull your credit when you go and apply for them. And they all are looking at your FICO score. So it's good for you to know what your FICO score is. Your FICO score shows you your accurate credit scores. And the myfico.com is the best place to go to. Yes, it does cost. Your FICO score does cost, or either any credit score, but you need to pay, you're gonna have to pay for that. And it's $39.95 a month. This is just one of the places that you can get it from. You also have other options out there, but they show you your Vantage score. You don't want to know your Vantage score. Your Vantage score is like a guesstimate of what your, or like an average of what your credit scores come up to. But you need to know your actual FICO scores. That again, that's what your lenders are looking at when they approve you for something. So you want to know your FICO scores. It does cost, but it can be a tax write-off if you are working your MyEcon business. So you're investing in repairing your good credit, so you have to pay in order to receive your FICO scores. So that's one of the places that you can go. The second step that you want to do is you want to get the secondary, freeze your secondary bureaus. So you say, well, what is my secondary bureaus? These are the bureaus who your creditors actually report to. And they, in turn, share your information with the three main credit bureaus. So before you begin disputing your errors on your credit report, you are going to want to freeze your credit file on the secondary consumer reporting agencies. They contain the information that the big three bureaus is Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion use to verify your credit data. So this is a strategy. You know, my econ is all about strategies. So this is a strategy to stop, it's like to block a wall from your information being verified. So when you're disputing your information off of your credit report, what we're disputing is inaccurate information. And when credit bureaus go to look at your credit report to prove that you owe the debt, they're trying to verify if you owe it. So if we put a freeze on our secondary bureaus, they're not able to verify we owe the debt, okay? So there are four main secondary credit bureaus that you want to freeze on your credit file report. And those are ARS, Innovis, LexisNexis, and SageStream. So recently, SageStream was bought out by LexisNexis, okay? So when you're ready to do the secondary freeze, all you have to do is go right to their site. And again, my econ has put the link in here for you. So we're making it very easy for you to do this. It's not hard to repair your own credit at all. You're gonna click on the link that says request a security freeze. It's gonna take you right to ARS website. We are a consumer, we're not an agency. An agency is if you were paying a third-party company to do it for you. You are the consumer, so you're gonna click on consumer. You're gonna agree to the terms, and you're gonna hit continue. You need to fill out all of this information correctly. And as you fill it out, and they check and verify, they're gonna ask you to upload some documents for verification purposes and identity purposes. Again, this is to protect your identity. So they're gonna ask you to upload a copy of your ID, your social security card, and some form of mail with your mailing address up there. Your mailing address should match what's on your ID, okay? If it does not, then they may need to contact you by mail to ask you to send in something else. So you want to make sure that whatever you submit, and it cannot be any type of marketing material. You can upload a copy of your utility bills, your rental agreement, your car registration, your W-2, 1099. It just needs, the address needs to match, and it needs to be from a reliable source. So once you upload those documents, then they are gonna let you know that everything has been verified, and they will either send you a message saying that you will receive an email from them, and they'll also send you something in the mail. Every security freeze that you put in place, they're going to send you a pin, a 4 to 5 digit pin in place, and you're going to need to keep that pin in a safe place just in case you ever later on need to remove the security freeze. Okay, so each site, you want to click on each site, and again, each site is going to require something different. But when you go directly, again, it's going to take you directly to their website. Okay. So this is not hard at all. With a security freeze, it's something that you do not need to never lift, because again, we're not freezing the 3 main credit bureaus, we're freezing the secondary bureaus. So this secondary freeze will not prevent you from getting approved when you go and apply for something. But I will tell you this, during your credit repair process, you should not be applying for anything. So keep that in mind. When you're repairing your credit, you should not be allowing anyone to pull your credit for any reason, okay? So you should never remove this freeze. It does not need to be removed. I do have some people who question that. So again, keep that pin in place. And when you're ready to lift the freeze for whatever reason, I've had people tell me that creditors told them that they needed to make sure they didn't have a freeze. I explained to them that we didn't freeze the main credit bureaus, but just in case, people don't feel comfortable, and you do have the option to lift the freeze and you can put it right back on. It does not affect your credit score at all, okay? After you put that freeze in place, you also want to download and read this, the list of consumer reporting agencies. This is a very powerful read, very knowledgeable, gives you some great information. It'll help you understand the secondary bureaus and how they work. If you've ever had an issue with cashing a check, if you've ever had an issue, it'll help you understand employment. A lot of people don't realize you can, you'll have employment places that would deny you employment based on your credit score. I've seen people apply for a supervisor's position in a job and they were denied because of their credit score. A lot of jobs look at if you're not able to handle your personal finances or whatever, that you're not worthy of a certain position within their company. And it might not be fair, but that's just how some companies are. They do expect you to have a certain credit score to have a certain title within their company. Banks won't give you a job if you have a bad credit score. So credit is major. A lot of people do not understand how that affects everything. I've seen people get denied car insurance, certain life insurance policies, and Jose probably can back me up on this. Certain companies will not give you life insurance if your credit score is bad. So that's why this is key for you to work on your credit if you have this, if you're a part of my econ. The second thing you want to do, now that you've pulled your credit report, you did your secondary freeze. Now we're going to check for errors on our credit report. So when you pull your credit report, I can say for myself, when I first got into credit repair and I pulled my credit report, I automatically assumed everything on that credit report would belong to me. I'm going to take Sprint, because at the time I had a Sprint account, and I just assumed, I seen it up there 3 times. I just assumed, it was a repeated account and everything was correct. I knew I didn't owe them $800, but I just assumed that it was for equipment, for me not turning in the cell phone when I left that particular phone service. So I just assumed that I owed the money. But when you check for errors on your credit report, we're looking for anything that's inaccurate, outdated, or unverifiable. So when I really began to understand credit, and I noticed that it was 3 Sprint accounts on my credit report, all of them had different account numbers. They had different amounts that I owe. They had different dates that did not match when I actually opened up the phone account. So all of that information was inaccurate. And because of that, I was able to delete and remove that off of my credit report without paying Sprint one dime. again, it's important for you to understand, we're not telling you not to pay your creditors, but anything that is inaccurate or outdated or unverifiable can be removed from your credit profile. So it's important for you to learn how to read your credit report, okay? Here are some, again, another great read for you, common credit report errors. Download this so you can understand what to check when you're looking at your credit report, okay? And now you're ready to start the dispute process because you understand what's on your credit report. So when we start the dispute process, you're going to click create a dispute letter. You want to go in here, you want to fill out all of this information. Once you fill it out, this system is going to remember everything that you fill in, and it's going to generate your letters for you at a faster pace. So all of this will be saved here in your profile, okay? So you want to set your profile up. The first letter that you're going to send off is your identity letter. I like to call it the credit cleanup letter. This letter, when you pull your credit report, you'll notice that every address you ever lived at or used, every name that you ever applied for something in, every telephone number, every employer. I think they go back probably as far as 3 years for employment, but sometimes it can go back further, but they won't have no more than 2 or 3 employers listed. But your credit report will obtain everything associated with your social security number. So your credit report, that's why I say when you go to print it out, it might be 56 pages because it's going to actually have everything that you have ever used your social for. You want to clean that up. You want a clean looking credit report. You don't want a creditor to have to go through all of that. And then a lot of times those old addresses is attached to inaccurate credit files, which is keeping your credit score low. So the purpose of this is to clean your credit up. You want to remove all of those old addresses. You want to remove all of the any inaccurate spelling of your name. You want to make sure that your social security number is correct. You want to make sure that the telephone numbers are removed off. And as far as employment, I would tell you this, when it comes to employment, some people feel like, okay, well, if I give them my new job, if I owe a creditor, I might get garnished. I cannot say if that will or won't happen. So you can use your own decision when it comes to what you want your employment information to say. Some people prefer to have their old employers still listed on the credit report, and that is completely fine. But what you don't want to have up there is unemployed, self-employed, you don't have side jobs. I've seen that on people credit reports, side jobs. Again, whatever you put down when you fill out the application is going to show up here for employment purposes. You can have disability, that's fine, social security, and retired. If you want to have your business up there, that's completely up to you as well, if you want to have your business name listed. But you absolutely don't want to have unemployed, self-employed, or side job, because to a lender, to someone that's trying to give you money or credit, you are a risk. They don't know when they're going to get their money from you. So that's why I say the employment part, you can keep your old employer up there. Excuse me. So we can preview the letter before we print it out. And this is how the letter looks. And you'll notice that we have the different fonts up here, and that's because we're getting the system's attention. When you mail these letters in, it does not automatically land in the hand of a person. It's going to go through something called the e-Oscar system. The e-Oscar system will spit a letter out or just sit it to the side. It would not get the attention of a person if the letter does not stand out. So that's why my econ, when we created this system, June, he made sure that the letters are different fonts and stuff. So that's major, okay? You want to make sure that this letter also is notarized, and you want to send it off certified mail. So what I tell a person to do is to make sure they just check all the boxes. Check all of the boxes. Again, the employment part is completely up to you. You want to make sure that it's notarized, and check that you want to save it to your account history. So when you hit create a letter, this is how it's going to look. And you can view the letter before you print it out. Again, it needs to be notarized And when you mail it off, it needs to be sent off certified mail, okay? You're gonna do a letter for each credit bureau because again, they're different privately owned entities, okay? You need to send it off certified receipt mail. Also, when you mail these letters off, you want to attach a copy of your ID, your social, and a form of a proof of address. The same thing that you submitted to the secondary bureaus to get your freeze in place, you're going to make copies of that and send it in with these letters. Again, this is to protect your identity. If you don't send that information in, it's just going to slow up the process because they're going to send you a letter asking for proof of identity. So to eliminate that, just make sure you have all of those three things in your letters, okay? Again, send it certified mail so that it can be proof that they received it, certified receipt mail, okay? And you want to save it to your history. So you're going to send off those three letters. The credit bureaus have 30 days to respond to every letter that we send in to them, okay? They have 35 days, give or take with mail, but they have 30 days to respond. When they send you a response letter, they are going to either send you an updated copy of your credit report showing that those old addresses and stuff like that has been removed, or they're just sending you a letter saying that your credit report has been updated. Also, during this process, you should have credit monitoring. So again, if you don't do the MyFICO, which is $40 a month, you can do, I suggest sometimes for people to do the Experian account, the paid account, where you have access to all three of your FICO scores, you have access to what's going on with your credit while you're doing the credit repair process. Credit monitoring will keep you alert of what's being added to your report and what's being taken off. So keep that in mind, you guys. That's the first letter. When that letter comes back, now you can start the dispute process. And the second letter that you should send off is called the verification dispute letter. I call this round one because now we're starting the fight. We're starting to fight the credit bureaus to remove all of the inaccurate information off of our credit report. Okay, so let's preview that letter. Again, you notice the different fonts because we want our letters to land in the hand of an actual person. And we're asking them to prove with hard evidence, going back to the original creditor. We're not asking for verification from a third-party database, but we're asking for proof of why we owe this debt, why we need to pay this debt to them. We're not saying that the debt is not ours. Is nowhere in this letter where we're saying the debt does not belong to us, because a lot of times the information that's on our credit report does belong to us. But the credit bureaus, so not credit bureaus, but our creditors will sell our debt to a third-party collection company. Once the debt has been sold, that gives us a right to dispute it, because now it's in the hands of someone I've never met before. Now someone is trying to collect something from me and I don't know who you are. So we're asking you to verify how I owe this debt. Okay, so we're asking them to give us hard evidence of how we owe this debt. So this is the letter right here, and that's a preview of the letter. When you go to enter in your information, you're going to select the credit bureau, let's say Equifax. You should keep a journal. You should have your credit report in front of you. You should know everything that's on your Equifax account on your credit report. You want to enter in your account name and the account number. Sometimes Equifax might have NA. And for the account number, they might have all X's. And that's exactly what you're going to put on this letter. If it's 9 X's, if it's 6 X's, if it's 12 X's, that's exactly what should go on this letter. Never ever provide the credit bureaus with information they don't already have. So this is a strategy that Equifax use. On some of your credit reports from Equifax, they will have NA for an account number, and they will have all X's. And that's exactly what you will list on this letter, okay? If you have more than 6 creditors, you're going to click the box that says add more. You never ever want to dispute more than 12 accounts at a time, okay? You're going to click include the notary because it needs to be notarized, and then you're going to save it to your log history. And I'll show you why that's important for us to save this letter. to our log history. All of your letters are going to be saved here in the back of your log history. If you ever click it, you'll have access to every letter that you're printing out from the My Credit system, okay? When you send this letter off, you're going to do the same thing. Send off a copy of your ID, your social security card, and that verifiable mail. You're going to send one letter off to each credit bureau, so that's 3 letters. Again, make sure that each credit bureau, what's on that credit bureau or that credit report should match this letter. So pay attention to that, because sometimes it could be the same creditor, but it could say something completely different. So for Experian, it might have Navy Federal Credit Union, FC, and then on Equifax, it might, on TransUnion, it actually might spell it out. So pay attention to that. That's very important to pay attention to the account numbers and the names, okay, you guys? And again, you're gonna mail them off. They have 30 days to respond to your dispute or your claim. When you receive a follow-up letter from them, they're gonna send you back a letter in 30 days, and it's gonna say either updated, verified, or deleted. We know that a deletion is a win. Anything that has been updated or verified, we're gonna go to round 2. Keep that in mind. This is round 2. We're not giving up. We don't say, oh, I just need to pay because they said they verified the debt, or I need to pay because it's been updated. No, absolutely not. We want you to prove to us how you verified that debt. And we're asking this because we know we have that secondary freeze in place. And we know we put a secondary freeze in place, is no way that they could have verified the debt. So this is your second letter that you're gonna mail off. Again, you see the different fonts because we're getting the system's attention, because we want our letters to land in the hand of an actual person. So the e-Oscars, once the system is alerted that there's a legit letter, it will land in the hand of an actual person in the dispute department for that credit bureau. So you notice with the second letter, we're asking them to prove how that they verified that we owe the debt. And we're asking them to send us a copy of the original contract. And again, you guys, I have had companies respond with a letter of the original contract, but it did not have the wet signature up there. They sent me a copy of the contract. So your creditors, when they buy your debt, they buy it for pennies on the dollar, and they don't buy the original file. They might buy a number. So a lot of these third-party collection companies do not have access to your information. They just bought a credit profile, and they're trying to collect money from you. So we're asking them to send us a copy of the business contract or the actual contract, and who verified the debt. You know, how did you verify the debt? We need to know all of that. If they can't send that information to you, then it has to be deleted from your credit report according to the Fair Credit Reporting Act. So this is very powerful. We're not telling you not to pay your creditors. Please keep that in mind. I will never tell anyone not to pay their debt. If you know you owe the money, you know it's correct on your credit report, if they send you something back saying, okay, this belongs to you and it's verifiable and it's correct, then and make a payment arrangement or do something like that. But we're not saying to just pay them either, because a lot of times you can pay third-party collection companies, and just because you pay it does not mean it's going to be deleted. I've seen that happen a lot of times, where people have paid off everything on their credit report and still have a 520 credit score. And it's because just because you pay it does not mean it's going to be deleted. So we're following the rules, we're following the guides, and making sure that we have our, every corner covered when disputing our credit. Same thing. Follow the same setup. You're going to mail these letters off. They're going to respond back in 30 days. Either they're going to say they verified it, deleted it, or updated it. You're going to repeat that process, you guys. Here's your third letter, and this is your final warning. Again, if they do not comply according to the Fair Credit Act and laws and your consumer rights, they have to remove this from your credit report. Again, if they don't prove hard evidence, but hard evidence that goes way back to the original creditor, That means the actual contract with your wet signature on it, they have to remove it from your credit report. Okay. Saying you repeat the same steps. We have letters in here that'll help you if you intend to take them to court. A lot of people have taken the credit bureau, not credit bureau, but the creditors. A lot of people have went to court with their creditors and won. Didn't have to pay them a dime. Again, because they couldn't prove why they should be paying the third-party collection company. A lot of people have sued these third-party collection companies and these credit bureaus and won. You have letters in here to help you out when you want to remove inquiry. You have a letter in here. So say if a third-party credit, say if the original creditor sends you something asking for you to pay, then you can send something called the pay to delete to them. You can send this directly to the creditor, asking them that if you pay it or negotiate something, you can do a settlement or something, then would they delete it off of your credit report? But when you speak to them, you want to make sure that you get the name of the person you're speaking to. You want it in an email. You want it in writing that it's going to be removed from your credit report. So never pay and then just assume that they're going to remove it off. You need proof that they're going to actually remove it off. So get them to give you an email, send you something in an email. You might even ask for their supervisor's name and their rep number, but you want something in writing to get that removed off your credit report. We have the goodwill letter in here. That's to get those 30-day late payments and stuff off of your payment, your credit report. 30-day late payment, any kind of late payments hurt your credit score up to almost 100 points. So you want to use this goodwill letter. If you still have the account is still open, then you can send this goodwill letter off. And it does work because I used it before. Long as their account is in good standing, you can actually send this letter and ask them if they are willing to remove those late payments, the late history from your credit profile. And a lot of times companies will work with you. Again, your account has to be current and in good standing, and they don't mind removing those from you. Those late payments can really, if you get those removed off your credit report, you'll see a huge increase on your credit score. So that's major. We have letters in here. So if they don't respond in 30 days, here's the 30-day no response. So again, if they don't respond in 30 days, you want to follow up with this letter. Okay. We have letters in here for HIPAA violation for medical. Here's a letter in here for that. I can say for myself, I used the first letter, which was the verification dispute letter, and I was able to remove medical bills and everything off of my credit report. Okay, but all of these letters, you guys, if you take your time, there's some great letters. So that's that part. So now you want to work on, I'm sorry, I went all the way out. Now you want to work on building your credit. So now that you clean it up, you deleted all the inaccuracies and incorrect information, outdated information off of your credit report. Now you want to work on building your credit. So right here is all of the credit bureau's addresses. This is a video to show you why you should never dispute online. Don't let no one convince you to go on Credit Karma or none of these sites and just hit dispute all the way through, because at that time it might disappear for a moment, but it will return to your credit report. Not only that, when you go and dispute stuff online, you could be waiving your rights away as a consumer to later on sue or later on prove something down the line that it does not belong to you. So never ever dispute online. Here's a video to show you how to mail your letters. So again, step by step. Here are all the letters and the Word version. So you can download all of these letters and save them to your computer. The letter that I download and save and use a lot is the identification letter. And that's because when you go to dispute your addresses, I have had Equifax tell me that they require for you to actually list every address on your credit report. So I ran into that problem helping a client out when I seen that they didn't remove the addresses. And when I called, I tell you this, when I called, first the lady tried to act as if they never received the letter. Then when I informed her that the letter was sent certified mail, she changed her tune and came back and was like, oh, we have your letter right here, but we require for all of the addresses to be listed on the letter. So of course, we're telling them anything, that any other addresses are undeliverable and I don't have access to them. But that's, again, they have their tactics in order to try to disencourage you. So again, you can use this letter to list every address. You can do the same thing for telephone numbers if you want to add the telephone number somewhere in this letter. So these letters you actually can make adjustments to. So that's why they're in there for you to download, and you can change the verbiage. That's the only letter that I would say is okay to change the verbiage on, is the identity dispute letter. Other than that, the verbiage on all of these letters are correct. It has the Fair Credit Acts up there and the laws and the violations. So you don't want to change the verbiage on those letters, okay? The purpose of us telling you to save those letters to your history is this right here. So whenever you want to file a complaint against the credit bureaus, this is the site that you go to, the CFPB. This should be everyone's number one friend when you're disputing in your dispute process, because when those credit bureaus want to play games, they want to take forever to respond to you again. Anything past 30 days, they violated your consumer rights if they haven't responded to you. If they keep trying to say that they've updated or verified something, but have not sent you hard evidence, again, from the original creditor, you can file a complaint against them. And in order to start your process of starting a complaint, you have to have proof that you followed the steps and the dispute process steps. So you want to have a copy of those letters that you sent in. They're going to also ask you to show proof that you mailed the letters in. So that's why we say send it certified mail. You're having your behind covered. So you're having your crossing every T and dotting every I. So again, when you file a complaint against them and you submit this information, then it's a guarantee that that stuff is going to be removed from your credit report when no questions asked. Okay, so this is major right here. I love that June incorporated this link in here. Also, to file a complaint if you've ever been a victim of identity theft, that link is right here as well, okay? If you ever have a problem with a creditor, you can actually call your state attorney general's office and report them as well, okay? Here is a video to show you how to check for disputes and what to do if disputes are not removed. Okay, so that's the video. So next you need to work on credit utilization. So this is major, because just because I had deleted all of that stuff off of my credit report didn't necessarily mean that I was going into the 700 credit club. So I had to start building credit, okay? So you want to work on building credit as well. Never be afraid to use your credit to build your credit, okay? So with credit utilization, you want to stay, it says 30%. I tell people if they could stay 20% or less, that's a bonus for you. If you can stay at 10%, that's even better. But anything under 30% is a good thing when you have credit cards for your credit utilization. So you want to watch that video. Also, here is steps to how to build your credit. So you have the credit loan builder programs, you have self, credit strong. If you are a member of a credit union, you can ask your credit union if they have a credit loan builder program. Here is some credit cards that we suggest. Again, all great cards for you to use to build your credit. You can use your rent if you are a renter and you're paying your rent on time. I would say that's a good thing. Also, I wouldn't suggest for you to use Experian Boost, because Experian Boost only reports to Experian. And if you are ever late or anything, it can mess your credit score up. So it's certain things that's out there that I wouldn't suggest for you to use. Just stick to what you see, what's in the My Credit system. And that is the end of my training. I want to let you guys know also that you can use the My Credit system if someone reaches out to you and they're not open to getting the membership for My Econ. We sell the My Credit system by itself as a standalone product. so that you won't leave no money on the table. If someone said, well, I don't want to pay a monthly membership, can I get the My Credit System for by itself? Absolutely. Go here under products, and we do sell it a la carte. This is all of our a la carte products, and the My Credit System can be sold a la carte. You just need to let them know that it does not come with trainings like this that we're on. I have people all the time who tell me they don't want to pay a monthly fee. Can they just purchase it by itself? So yes, you absolutely can sell this by itself. It just does not come with the trainings like this. Once I tell them that, they have a change of heart. Because again, it's value in what we offer. And to get your credit repaired with coaching and trainings from a team like this is major. And that $39.95 a month, which is less than $1.80 a day, that and is a tax write-off. You can't get no better than that. So you just help people see the value in having the membership. It just makes sense. I've had people order my credit system by itself just to come back and get the membership because it just makes sense. That's the end of my training. Thank you, guys.